Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome to another Monday Motivation. May 11th, coming off Mother's Day weekend. I hope everybody had a lovely time. The weather was beautiful. I love seeing everybody's posts, spending time with the fam, the kids. Had some members of the Oxfit fam head up to that Savannah Bananas game, which looked like a ton of fun. But yeah, I'm here to motivate you this Monday. We are in week 5 of our summer training cycle. It's flown by. We are in it now. We are in the thick of training. Every time we have week 5, no matter what training cycle it is, you can expect those 5x5s for our key lifts. So today and tomorrow, we are lifting heavy with our front squat, deadlift, hang clean. We've got a great week of training, and we're going to keep working on that gymnastics with the weight vest because we are getting closer and closer to kind of our main event of May, which is Murph on Memorial Day. And then the rest of that week follows with our annual Hero Week. So we have a whole lineup of Hero Week workouts coming your way at the end of the month, kicking off on Memorial Day. So if you're in town, make sure you're free, fit the gym into your schedule. We are putting on a big Hero Week challenge that you can register for on Competition Corner. If you don't know how to find that, you can check any of the emails that Oxfit has sent you over this past weekend. There is a link in all of them to register on Competition Corner. All of the proceeds for this competition, quote unquote, is going to support the Warrior Alliance, to support our veterans. So it's a great cause. You sign up. The challenge is that we ask you to complete all 6 Hero Week workouts. You don't have to be the fastest. You don't have to get the best score. We just want you to show up and do your best starting on Monday, Memorial Day, going all the way through that Saturday. If you finish all 6 workouts, you are going to get your limited edition 2026 Hero Week t-shirt designed by Mr. Ant Oxley. He's here right now. Good morning, Ant. So yeah, go ahead, check that out. Visit your email if you haven't already. Read up on what we've got going on at the end of this month. Yeah, after we get through Hero Week, we might take a little break from the weight vest, but maybe not, because it's a great way to work on those gymnastic skills, add a few extra pounds. Once Hero Week is over, we are going to keep gearing up for our Summer Fit Fest, which is the highlight of summer 2026. It is the very end of June. It's going to be at the end of this training cycle. So you guys are all going to be super well prepared for either that Deca Atlas and Deca Strong. If anybody's had some issues registering for that event, it is fixed. You can register for either one. You can do it as an individual, as a partner. If you have questions about either DECA event, you've got questions about Hero Week, anything we have going on, you want to get involved, but you don't know how, you can shoot me an email, sav@ox.fit. But all in all, it's been a great start to the week. I like Mondays. I like coming in, looking at the lineup of workouts, seeing all you guys start the week off strong. We had some great classes this morning. And yeah, kind of led me into what I want to talk about today, topic I chose. And it is all about biohacking, optimizing our performance, whether we're doing it the right way or not. I want to talk about all the trends, what the influencers are saying online, what people are telling you need to buy, what you need to do. And we're going to figure out, can you actually optimize your workouts and recovery by using those things like cold plunges, saunas, wearables, sleep tracking, recovery technology, or is it all just super expensive wellness marketing? So we're going to dive into the science, the trends, what's useful, what's overhyped, and what might genuinely help you have a better fitness routine. Because we know you guys have awesome workouts here at Oxfit. We know you have great coaches, but we also know there is so much being marketed to us outside of that when we go home, when we get on our phones, whenever we start watching TV. So what is Fitness biohacking basically just means using tools, techniques, or data to improve our performance, try to improve our recovery, our energy, or even our long-term health. We want to live longer, we want to live healthier, and we've kind of given it this term biohacking. So some of them are simple, and things that are coined as biohacks aren't really something I've thought of as a hack. It just kind of seems like common sense. So sleeping better, tracking your workouts, staying hydrated, eating well. But when I think of the word biohack, I think of the more high-tech, kind of expensive side of that, where we see the cold exposure through, a cold plunge or something similar. Saunas, we've got the heart rate variability tracking, red light therapy, all of the wearable technology, whether it's a ring, a watch, they've got bands that go around your chest. But for all those things, the goal is optimization. So getting better results from your training and trying to reduce burnout, fatigue, and injury risk. But the important thing is that we know before we start talking about this is that biohacking should support healthy habits, not really replace them. And we know that no matter what we buy, what we invest in, nothing's going to replace a good, consistent workout routine. Nothing's going to replace good sleep, good nutrition, and stress management. Now, we can know that at our core, but we can all still be so tempted to look into, buy, invest in something that is going to give us some sort of shortcut, something to make it easier. Because that's how our life is. Everything we do can be faster. It can be more immediate. We can get results now. And so it's very tempting to try to let that bleed into, your health and your fitness routine. We're constantly marketed the coolest gadgets or trends. Some of them might work, some might not. And the first thing I think that's at least the most popular that comes up on my feed, not necessarily being marketed to me to buy, but this is what I see, all of the athletes I follow, especially in this CrossFit community or people that are really invested in their health, they all have a cold plunge and they've all got a sauna and they all use them every single day. So for the cold plunge or cold exposure, it's usually sitting in cold water, right? Anywhere from around 40 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit for a few minutes. If you do it a lot, people claim it reduces inflammation, it improves recovery, it increases your alertness, and can even improve your mood. And a lot of the science does support that. Cold exposure can activate the nervous system and release adrenaline and dopamine, which really do improve focus and energy temporarily. And a lot of athletes use ice baths to reduce soreness after intense training. But I think people maybe misuse them or definitely overuse them, because if your goal is muscle growth, and over time getting stronger, building muscle, losing fat, doing cold plunges immediately after strength training might actually reduce some of the muscle building adaptations, because we have to have an inflammatory process. If we stop that inflammatory process with ice cold water, it's going to hinder that muscle growth. Now, that's not to say it can't be useful. So after a hard endurance workout or on days you need to recover, or if you just like the way it makes you feel, it can be great. I personally find that, training for performance, especially kind of as we get into the summer, we're all going to start preparing for triathlons and beach brawl and high rocks and all of these big events that require a lot out of us. They require more than just, 4 OxFit workouts a week. We have to increase our training. The athletes that I'm working with for beach brawl, the athletes that Lauren is working with for the triathlon, as those events get closer, their training volume is going to have to go up, because they're training for something very specific and they want to do well. So if you're looking at a large volume of training that you've got to get done and you have a quick turnaround, a cold plunge is really helpful to reduce soreness and speed up your recovery, so you can be ready to get back on the track, put more miles in. You can get ready for another hard workout. But that's only for a season, right? We don't do that all the time. So for the average person who's wanting to get stronger, lose fat, build muscle, and just have a healthy routine, Cold plunge is not going to be absolutely necessary. Now, that's not to say if you just like the way it makes you feel, you like getting in a cold plunge in the morning for a few minutes just because it wakes you up. I don't really think it's, a bad thing. It just comes down to personal preference. So you just have to know that buying a cold plunge and putting it in your house is not going to automatically fix anything. You just have to know I'm doing it because I like really cold water. For me, the shower gets cold enough. If I need a little jolt of energy to wake me up, I can just turn the handle all the way to cold, and it kind of does it for me. But maybe some people are different. Now, on the flip side, we have saunas. Now, I feel like saunas have been way more popular, or not way more popular, but maybe popular for longer than a cold plunge, mostly because they're more enjoyable, at least to me. I would much rather sit in a sauna than sit in an ice bath. But being in that sauna, we know it improves our circulation. It helps with stress reduction, muscle relaxation, and even helping with some cardiovascular benefits by improving that blood flow. Because it increases your heart rate, and that will increase the blood flow to all of your extremities. So people that consistently use saunas may tend to have better sleep, reduced stress, and improved recovery. And regular sauna use can be associated with, longer term health benefits. And honestly, if I had the money, I would probably put a sauna in my house because I really just like the way they make me feel. It feels kind of like a hot tub to me. It's like on the same level. I definitely think it helps blood circulation and relaxation, and it's a great wind down tool. If you're a person that struggles to regulate yourself, you struggle to bring your heart rate down and get down to a baseline, especially in the evening, I think a sauna would be a great tool to do that, especially if you're a person that has to work out in the evening and you feel like that maybe has you struggling to wind down and go to sleep by a certain time. I think something like a sauna could be a great tool. Not a very cost-effective tool, but it's a great option. But just like the cold plunge, would a hot shower or a hot bath do the same thing? I don't know. You would have to test it out. But those two, I think, cold plunge sauna, definitely the most popular. Not only can you get them for your home, there are so many places that have, weekly, monthly memberships for the contrast cold hot therapy, like a cold plunge or a sauna. Now, another biohack, quote unquote, I don't really think of this as a hack, is just sleep optimization. We know sleep is where muscle repair happens. It's where we regulate our hormones. We know our recovery improves if we get good quality sleep. And if people are tired and sore and, struggling to see results, often they're not working too hard. They're just not recovering well enough. So they're not sleeping well enough. And no supplement or gadget is going to fully compensate for poor sleep. I think some great sleep optimization strategies include just having a consistent schedule, putting away the electronics at night, cooling off that bedroom, reducing your caffeine late in the day. Whitney and I talked all about this in a podcast we did together a couple weeks ago. So if you want to really get in the weeds with strategies for having better sleep or improving your sleep quality, you can go check out that video, and you've got 30 minutes where we just talk about sleep. So I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty on this podcast. But tracking your sleep quality, that's where these wearables come in. The rings, the watches, we've all seen them. They track our sleep stages, they track our resting heart rate, our recovery readiness, and our heart rate variability, which I'll talk about that in a second. Are they perfectly accurate? No, but they can help people become really aware of recovery patterns and lifestyle habits. But there is a danger in becoming kind of obsessed with the data, right? Sometimes people sleep worse because they're anxious about getting a perfect sleep score. They don't know why their watch is telling them one thing, but they feel a different way. But really the goal with these products is just being aware, not being perfect. And personally, I've used several wearable technologies. I've had the Apple Watch, I've had a couple versions of the Whoop. And in my opinion, for the regular person, this is just my opinion, it was telling me things that were just so obvious. I was paying a lot of money just to be told things that I kind of already knew. If I stayed up really late or I was drinking, my sleep score would be terrible. And that shouldn't be a surprise. If I ate really well the day before and I went to bed at my normal time, my sleep score was good. So I personally don't think it was worth the money just to get that information. Now, if you do everything right, you're not drinking, you're eating well, you're working out, you're going to bed at the same time every night, you're not on your phone, and you still are waking up feeling exhausted, I think that's when it's totally worth the investment to have some type of technology that's telling you, oh, you actually came out of sleep, you woke up, 5, 6 times last night, because sometimes we're not aware of that. Even if we don't fully wake up and get out of bed, we're tossing and we're turning and we're not in the deep sleep that we should be. So then maybe it's worth that investment to get some more data. So additionally, these wearable technologies are providing a lot of data about sleep, about our workout recovery, and about stress. But for most people, there aren't too many things that you can actually change about the way your life is structured. Yes, you can go to bed earlier. Yes, you can, not drink alcohol. But when it comes down to things like the time of day that you work out or what time you have to wake up in the morning, a lot of us can't change that. Some of us have to work out at 5:30 a.m. or else we do not get to exercise that day. We have kids that wake us up in the middle of the night. We're forced to eat dinner later than we may want to because of sports practice or work schedules. And all we can do is make the best of what we can. My wearable technology I was at like a green 100%. It was super happy on the days that I got 10 hours of sleep and I had a great workout at 10 a.m. I mean, no shit. We would all be better off if we could get 10 hours of sleep every night and just naturally wake up and then eat breakfast and go work out. But that's not everybody's lifestyle. So you have to give yourself some grace and you have to know, what things can I control to get the best recovery possible, given the fact that I've got to wake up at 4 a.m. every day because I've got to work out at 5:30. And one thing that these wearables really like, especially the Whoop, is the heart rate variability, so the HRV. And this measures the variation between heartbeats. So higher HRV is associated with better recovery and resilience, and a lower HRV may indicate stress, fatigue, illness, or overtraining. A lot of professional athletes like to use this data to decide when do they push harder, when do they recover, when does their body need rest. And it's because it's influenced by stress, alcohol, sleep, hydration. It can clue you in to maybe you're sick before you even realize it. You think it's just allergies, but actually your heart rate variability has totally tanked. So it's definitely useful over time. But once again, you have to be in a place where you can pivot based on that data. So if you're a person that can take all of this data and say, okay, today needs to be a rest day, I need to work out tomorrow instead, brilliant. Like, by all means, use that. But for most of us, we don't have that luxury. So just keep that in the back of your head. That's kind of what I was feeling, is that, one, everything it was telling me was super obvious. Two, I didn't have a lifestyle where I could take that data and say, great, now I know that I need to sleep 10 hours every night and I shouldn't work out at 6 a.m. Really, I should work out at 10 a.m. or noon. I just didn't have the power to make those changes because I had a job and I had, real things I needed to do. And the last one, just for a little bit of fun, because I have seen this floating around on my social media probably the most out of everything in terms of like things that I apparently need to buy. And it is red light therapy. So this involves exposure to low level red or near infrared light. There are red light therapy saunas. There are red light therapy masks that I've seen all over the place, like the big crazy white ones that like glow. It looks kind of scary actually. And those range from Anywhere from $300 to $600, because yes, I have clicked on it with the intention to potentially buy it because I felt like I needed it for some reason. It helps with muscle recovery, inflammation. The masks specifically are marketed to help with your skin due to the energy production it provides to your cells. So early research is actually promising, especially for recovery and tissue healing. But this is another way that the so-called, biohacking or this trend can be really expensive. A lot of products kind of overpromise results. So in general, evidence suggests it's good for you. Now, do I think your life is going to change by buying a mask? If it's $600, I hope it does, but I don't know if it will. So, out of all these things, the question really is, can you biohack your way to a better fitness routine? And yes, probably, but not in the way that a lot of kind of products are selling it as. Because underneath all of the flashy things, we have to be checking off the biohacks that are pretty boring. So we have to be sleeping well. We have to have structured workouts every week. We have to have days that allow us to recover. We have to be hydrating. We have to be managing our stress, eating well, and overall, we have to be doing this not perfectly, but consistently. And I think that's where a lot of people fall off. And we've talked about that in these podcasts a lot, is that it's about consistency over time versus perfection in short bursts. So if all of those things are in check, these tools, flashy tools, can help around the edges. But if your habits are bad, no cold plunge or wearable technology is going to fix that. But if you have solid habits across the board, then yes, some of these tools can genuinely improve recovery performance and your long-term health. But really, we don't want to be putting $500 Band-Aids on bullet holes when a lot of biohacking can be accomplished just by checking off those basics. So this is not to knock the folks that have the red light mask or the cold plunge sauna membership. It's just to remind you that before you make all of these investments in big changes, go back to the basics and make sure that the things you can control are being done the right way. Are you cooking the right meals? Are you able to show up to the gym 3 to 4 times per week? Are you sleeping through the night without being on your phone before bed? And sometimes those things are the hardest to change because it does require, a behavior change, a routine change. It requires new habits and discipline. So yeah, if you feel like you are struggling to quote unquote biohack your fitness routine, then that is what we are here for. Myself, Aunt Lauren, Caitlin, Whitney, your Oxfit coaches, we spend all of our time every day. We're coaching people on perfecting the simple stuff, eating well, working out, recovering, and managing kind of all the craziness in between. So if you have any questions about, managing the basics, please email me, sav@ox.fit. I would love to help you biohack your fitness routine, and then we can talk about throwing in cold plunge and sauna. And if you have a membership, you can bring me with you, and I'll come and we can sauna and plunge together every week as much as you want. But that is my topic for today, you guys. I hope you are motivated this Monday. Hope you have a great week. I hope you biohack the shit out of your week and your fitness routine, and you guys get some awesome work done in the gym. I will see you in class, and I look forward to crushing it with you guys. Let's go.